Ever watch something and become so obsessed with it that you can't wait to talk about it with your friends? Bobby Finger, host of Who Weekly, feels the same way. So every other week, Bobby invites guests to talk about the Netflix shows and films they're most obsessed with on the new podcast, I'm Obsessed with This. So tune in to hear about the most binge-worthy shows like Russian Doll or Sex Education, and subscribe to I'm Obsessed with This on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts. So
Guys,
it's like, yes, sorry, we're already talking.
We have started right out the gate.
We sure
Before
have.
we can even introduce our guest because we can't get to her quick enough.
I know, and we just wanted to hear, as we opened the door, we literally didn't even say hi. We were just like, did you see Vanderpump? Because to get her words and her thoughts, it's a privilege and a pleasure.
Guys, we're here with Roxane Gay.
Woo!
A second appearance she's graced us with. We're in her gorgeous home. Thank you for being here, even though it's your house.
Yeah, thank you for letting us.
You're more than
be
welcome. Thanks for having me.
here. In your house.
In my house. Thanks for making me not have to travel.
You know, you're an important guest and the people called for you. Again,
Yes. Time and time again.
This is the number one podcast. Like, I do a lot of interviews, and this is the number one reference I get. I heard you on Bitch Sesh, and I'm like, yes, you did.
well, it's a powerful show.
It is.
And we're doing important works.
You really are doing more important work. Frankly, you guys are my CNN. So,
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Thank
a huge
you.
compliment. And we feel like you elevate our material. So
a
we
little
appre-
bit.
Yeah.
And then
a lot.
you also
Kind of
bring
just elevate everything.
you also bring us down.
We bring you down.
I mean, you watch Below Deck.
Yes.
I do. It's so good. It's just so good. And I can't wait to see where they go next.
I want to just urge our listeners right off the bat to start watching Mexican Dynasties. It's wild.
I really want to get
I'm
into
excited.
it.
Is it really about Mexican dynasties?
Yes, of
Are they
course.
real rich Mexican people?
For real.
Oh,
and
God.
there's a
I
brother.
do remember when my friend and writing partner Donna Furman came on and thought the Shaws of Sunsets were real Shaws. And that was a mistake that she made and she got to.
Oh, bless her heart, though.
It's like that thinking the housewives are housewives.
Yes. Oh, but come on. Dorit keeps talking about how she's a working mother. Oh. Like, Dorit,
Every time
what
she says
work?
that.
I've been working so hard, baba.
Yeah.
What are you working at?
In that
I
red
mean,
tracksuit.
what are you doing? Especially since she owes that one guy $300,000 for her swimsuit line.
I know. And her like Evita on that balcony, like screaming to PK, like, darling, where are you? Like from one balcony to the next.
Like, you're in the same house. And also, why did she pretend? Sorry to get into it rightly,
No,
but
please.
why did she pretend that she funded the trip to the Bahamas when it was clearly a
Because
comp?
I think they assign a different person, like, this is your trip. And everyone's like, oh, thank you for planning this, Dorit. When
Yes.
some, like,
We all sort of subscribe to the illusion. We all go,
Yes.
oh, this person paid for this trip and
the
organized
only
this
trip I think was genuinely organized by her, and it was a huge fail, was Teddy's trip to her little beach house.
Yes. And that
when
was
Erica
a
stayed at the
disaster.
Nakano Lodge.
Yes, because of her period.
Was that the last time we were here with Period Gate? It might have even been. It might be.
I
a
think it was
year.
before Period
Was it
Gate.
before
It was
Period?
before Teddy came. Wait, Teddy might have been on the show. It was really weird. Also, just they flew out of LA on American Airlines, but tried to make it seem that they flew the entire way from LA to the Bahamas on the private jet. But then when you look at the screen of the private jet, it shows that they took off in Orlando.
I did. Nice catch, because I didn't even see that. I mean, last
I
week.
need a hobby.
Wait, I have a question. Did you see the singer in the last week episode of Atlanta? Because Casey and I both had trouble identifying that there was a singer in the Atlanta episode.
In Nene's home.
I haven't seen it. What
Okay.
singer?
There was just a man in a white dinner jacket just singing in her foyer
While Nene Leakes danced around.
in her bi-wig party.
I mean, we all have our comforts.
I think it's because, let's be honest, you're watching the shows, but you're also doing other things, but you're watching intently while
Yes.
not watching.
Exactly.
Exactly. So we missed him last week.
Now, Beverly Hills, what are your thoughts on Denise Richards?
Oh, I love her. She's just a breath of fresh air. She is bringing a level of realness I did not anticipate her possessing. And
Who could have?
I mean, and when she came out of the water, even though it wasn't Christmas Jones that came out of the water, it was her character in Wild
Wild Things.
That came out of the water like that. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. It was still Denise Richards emerging from the water glistening. She's held up.
Oh, yeah, she has.
100%. And I think she's a really good person.
She has the best body of all of them because she clearly eats actual food.
She's
and
very sexy.
That's just important.
I think she's very sexy, and I think she's a good person.
I do too. I like her. I think it's her husband that like he does like woo, but this is LA, so like
Did you say he does woo?
He does woo. Like every other dude here is doing like body work and chakra nonsense.
He's doing wah.
Whatever. That's not for me. But if it brings him, satisfaction.
When he's
also,
like, "It's 8, baby. It's 8." She's like, "What's happening?"
Yes. And I like how she was like, I don't make decisions based on numbers.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
And then it was beautiful when she announced her engagement, and Lisa Rinna was trying to give the kind of like excitement surrounding someone's engagement. And then she's like, how did this happen? She's like, well, his divorce was finished. And she's like, huh. That's pretty real.
Every love story. But also he was married to Nicolette Sheridan.
Which is insane.
Who I have followed and with intrigue and passion for a long time.
Speaking of
because
Nicolette
she used
Sheridan.
to be with Michael Bolton and Harry Hamlin. That little triangle.
That is
delightful.
a weird triangle.
Speaking of Nicolette Sheridan, may we touch briefly on the Felicity Huffman Aunt Becky drama? Because it feels part of a piece here.
It does, because, and I said this on Twitter last night, I actually can't believe not one of the housewives across the franchises has been caught up in this college scandal.
I was looking through the names. Like,
they'll tumble out.
Positive I'd see like a Rinna.
They'll tumble forward.
You know what, though? I don't know that most of them send their kids to college.
And many of them still have young children.
Yes.
So in like 20 years, when we've forgotten about this, I think we might see it again.
And many of them are modeling, which I put in quotes.
Yes.
It's interesting. Like the bar for modeling seems to have shifted.
You think?
Like what they call modeling and like sometimes, and the thing is they're young. And so I'm not going to name names, but I look at them and I think,
Bella and Delilah. I think simply,
I just think
H-U-H,
Is it the parents' fame that has put them in that
Yes,
realm?
I believe it to be. I mean, I think Gigi, who is beautiful,
She is.
was the first to sort of like bridge that gap from reality star
from
child
Abercrombie
to model.
Yes.
I'll never forget the time when I saw Jolander, and they were on that modeling shoot for Gigi, and she said to her, like, "Isn't this so much better than eating?" Like, do you remember?
It was a twist on the old Kate Moss quote.
Dark.
Oh,
It was so dark. Her saying it to her daughter. Like, usually it should be the mom saying, like, "I don't care what you look like.
Yes.
Like, you're beautiful and I love you." To have a mom say that to her child was
it was horrifying.
dark.
And also last night, when I was watching one of the back episodes of Beverly Hills, Rinna was talking to her daughter who had the eating disorder. And it was just, I think I'm going to actually write an essay about it, because in Beverly Hills in particular, they all have deeply damaged relationships to food and body image because they're always depriving themselves or fake eating when they go to restaurants. And it was really painful to see that this child is clearly still in the throes of the disorder. And Rinna is in the throes of the disorder and was sitting there as if she didn't teach and model for her daughter what an eating disorder looks like, and is continuing to do so because her desire for fame is more vital to her than food, which we all are nourished in different ways. But like, she talks about it all the time and then pretends she doesn't have this problem. And it's just like, you're clearly an anorexic. And it, we could talk about that. I don't know.
The flip side of that coin, we were discussing, just to briefly jump over to Vanderpump, the Katie of it all, in terms of her kind of internalizing of her own body image. And we were saying just that James is kind of jumping into her insecurity by calling her fat. I just think James is really, you pointed this out, Roxane, just going after her insecurity because she's not fat.
No, she's not. She's absolutely not.
Although you also mentioned.
But I do think she's Hollywood fat. And compared to the rest of the cast.
I see myself in that comment.
Well, because one of the people always ask me, like, how do you live in LA? And I just say, well, I'm of a size that I'm not even on the radar. People don't even see me. So it's deeply freeing. Like if you are more than 30 or 40 pounds overweight, you don't exist. If you're like in that 20, anywhere from 0 to 30 pounds overweight or fat, I don't like the word overweight.
I love that you prefer fat.
Yes, because overweight implies that there's a normal weight and that everyone else is abnormal. And so I just prefer fat, which is accurate and a descriptor and not an insult. But then people are like, oh, you're not fat. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, I'm in that range that you describe. And I've had multiple people in the business tell me, like, you either need to gain a ton or lose more.
And you're perfect. So that's truly appalling. It is appalling.
It's so interesting. It's like those are the options.
They are the options here. And so when I look at Katie, I think you're not fat because she's not fat. And then I look at the rest of the cast and also a lot of the people around here, and I'm like, well, in LA, you're not the average body size. Or actually in Hollywood, you're not the average body size.
It's also hard to hear her I understand that she's angry at James for saying that and him hurting her, but they're all monsters. Yes. And so to hear a monster be mad at another monster is just like, I'm mad because I'm mad.
It's like when I saw a homeless man who, God bless him, was absolutely insane, sitting next to another homeless man. And then the first guy gave me like the crazy sign to the other guy, like, get a load of this one. It's just,
It's just like, well, I can't sympathize with you because you're so terrible. Yeah. And for you to use this real thing that hurts real people for us to get on your side and to get everybody on your side is so manipulative.
It is, because if Katie saw me, she would talk shit about me. And so it's hard to like really.
She would talk shit about all of us because she's a black hole.
Absolutely. And so, yes, James should not have called her fat. It was wrong. But the way she's taking it up now as a moral crusade, and they're all pretending that they're not deeply fat phobic, is offensive.
Yes. But they can hide behind James's comment. Like they're sticking up for her to kind of hide their own kind of.
And also she has said terrible things about all of them that can go up there too, of saying
and
bad things.
She's also used fat phobia to her advantage. And if we went through the archives into the early seasons, we would see Katie talking about people being fat. I think there was once they all called Kristen fat, even though what? Like how on earth? And that's in the deep recesses of my mind, but I could be wrong. But they've talked about fatness before, and they've wielded it as an insult.
Yes, they
but
have.
now all of a sudden, now we're going to be correct and right? It's just, I hate hypocrisy. Either be consistently anti-fat phobic or just give up the ghost and admit you're horrible people. You're horrible fat phobic people. All of you.
Admit you're horrible fat phobic people.
Give up the ghost.
I'll tell you.
Say that to them.
We slide quickly back to the Felicity Huffman of it all?
Oh, Felicity Huffman. Yes, love to hear your thoughts on that.
The people have been calling for it.
Yes, and I feel like I've read some of your Twitter thoughts on it, but
it's so horrible, and yet I don't know why I find it also electrifying.
I'm particularly interested in Lori Loughlin, Queen of the Hallmark movie.
Yes.
And her daughter
grabs you.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And her daughter, Olivia Jade, who doesn't want to be in college.
No, who has said it,
doesn't need to be in college.
Shouldn't be in college.
Absolutely not.
And not everybody needs to go.
Especially when you're wealthy. Like, I mean, I think everyone should go to college, learn, be exposed to different modes of thought, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're a YouTube star, however long that's going to last, but your parents are a wealthy designer and a wealthy actress.
And you're not going to go to class anyway because it doesn't matter.
And you're spending $60,000 a year. I mean, use that money for charity or something. It's just so bizarre. And, I know that the meritocracy does not exist. And I know that having been to one of these elite schools and I teach at one of them, I know that not everyone who gets in deserves to be there.
Of course.
Yes. Well,
the scope of this is hilarious.
There's the donating. See, this is why I don't understand, because there's the regular rich person, famous person route of getting in, which is like donate a building or enough money and have a name and have some fame. And those elite schools let those people in anyway. Why couldn't these people go that route? I'm curious. Like that route wasn't available to them. And so then they get into the cheating. There's already this basically bribery going on.
Absolutely.
So where does
the system is already so rigged? You have to go further. And as someone with an SAT score of 1050, who just simply, basically, I was told I did almost, and I will say perfectly on the English, but basically filled out my name on the math. I've had to live with that, and that's my lot in life. And here I am,
Here you are still
talking
making it.
about the Real Housewives. If had there been that section on there, things would be different. But it's just so egregious. And I love that Lori's husband apparently said, like, we can't have our kids getting into Arizona State, where my entire family went. And Meghan McCain came out and said her dad's foundation is set up there. And she's like, her daughter couldn't have even gotten in there.
Yeah, but Meghan McCain went to Georgetown. I don't know anything about Meghan McCain. I don't know. Maybe she is a Georgetown. But I would say some stuff helped Meghan McCain get into Georgetown.
Yes, her last name.
Her last name. Well, speaking of last names, Ben Dreyfuss, Richard Dreyfuss's son, tweeted the funniest thing. He said, I got into college the old-fashioned way by letting my father's celebrity speak for itself.
Exactly. But that's what
the thing.
I'm
Like,
about.
I went to college with so many of these kids, and their parents back then in 92 bought their way into school. There were two guys I went to high school with, who were so terrible that they got kicked out of I went to boarding school, and they got kicked out of several boarding schools. And at every new school, their dad would buy a statue or something. And then he bought some building to get them into college. And this is known. This is what was done. And so now that there's this elaborate scheme that, like, with someone taking their SATs, I'm like, y'all, there's a much faster way to get your kid into college. You don't need to do all of this.
And for $500,000, I feel like you guys could have gotten that done.
Right. It's one thing if you want to only spend like $10,000, $30,000.
Like Felicity just wanted $15,000.
Absolutely.
Spent.
Like, if that's it, then yes, this is the way to go. But if you have $500,000, you can buy your kid into USC. You can't buy your kid into Yale.
Yeah, that's going to take a little more.
There is probably
I bet, because they have
$2 million, $3 million.
I feel like they were like, you know what? No one will believe she got in there.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't, because I teach there, and it's the kids there are at least I got to choose the kids in my class because they had to apply, and they're incredibly smart.
Any online courses for?
It was a really good class too.
I would take it in a second.
You could absolutely take it. It would be so fun. It's not a fun class, but the class is fun.
I'd love to.
And the kids there are genuinely smart. And so I've looked at a few of Olivia Jade's videos, and she couldn't even basically handle getting from the door of the building into the classroom. It would take too much out of her. And so, I think USC is a good school, but she's at the right school for her. It just...
And putting people's faces on like rowers' bodies.
Yes.
That is
just the level of Photoshop that they engaged in. Like these parents either really love their children or really love living through their children.
Or really think their children are stupid.
The Lori Loughlin Massimo household also has a has a USC flag flying high in the flagpoles. It is not at half mast, but I'm not kidding. There's a flag flying.
Well, Olivia Jade was on the yacht of the president of USC, and that yacht cost $625,000 a week.
Oh, Jesus
So that's
Christ.
what they spent on the kids' spring break. And she was on that yacht with the daughter and some other USC students.
Now, Felicity's the one that stands out for me. Mm-hmm. Because I
thought
really
better of her.
Me too.
I did too. And
because she was married to William H. Macy.
Yes.
And in Transamerica.
Yes.
And she's also this, like,
She
in
always
my
seems
mind, this New York theater actress who, in my mind, I know nothing of her, but, like, went through, like, the rough, like, tumble world of, like, David Mamet. And, like, I just felt like she was
David
a little more
Mamet came out with an asinine.
Yes.
Asinine.
I
That was
saw
a
that
statement. I did
very
not see a
cold
statement.
take. I was just
he's a cold fish.
Yes. He thinks very highly of himself and his rules for drama. Okay, David Mamet.
It's not great what he came out with defending them all.
God, why not just not say anything?
Thank you.
Exactly.
Just
Like,
not
clearly
say
you people all believe this is just fine, but you don't have to say it out loud where the press is going to pick it up and regurgitate
But that's the level
it.
of not thinking it's fine, that they're so unaware that even speaking that is is fine.
They have no
It's
awareness.
so egregious for kids who there were kids that did not get in.
Because these idiots got in.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're right. This has been going on at such high levels. Of course it
Forever,
has.
at every
It's
school.
already so unfair.
It really is. And that's...
Plus all the SAT classes and extracurricular, like all the stuff that these kids
things
can
have
do
already
anyway.
existed. There have long been systems in place to help mediocre, wealthy children get into college. With the SAT prep courses are extraordinarily expensive. The college coaches, the people who write the little essays for the kids instead. And so
how about the
just
woman,
rely on that.
I think her name was Jane Buckingham,
Yes.
because I've done a little research, who gave her son's handwriting sample to a proctor who then wrote his essay for him. But the son thought he was writing a handwriting sample for a doctor's appointment.
Yes.
Well, I feel also
And
for
some of
these
these children
kids,
are not terribly bright. Like, bless their hearts. Like the one who made her child... I can't remember the name, but she told the ACT people that her kid was sick, and she got it so that he could take the ACT at home. And he thought he was really taking the test, and she actually sent someone to go take his ACT
I think
for
that was Jane
him.
Buckingham. So dark.
And it's just like, it is so dark, and who has that kind of fun? Like,
but also to be the child who knows your parents don't have the faith in you, that like you can just do this on your own merits. Whatever you're going to do, it's what you're going to do. And like to know your parent has no faith in you, or like to know your
devastating.
Devastating.
It will break laws.
They're like,
to
well,
get you a place that you can't get to by yourself. Ugh.
and the best was when in the transcript, Felicity Huffman said simply, "Ruh-roh."
Oh!
Ruh-roh indeed. Shall we take a quick break?
Yes, let's do. And
Guys, we're back.
We're back to Beverly Hills.
Absolutely.
We had to sidetrack into that because the minute Alexi was going to GW, I was like, and how did she get there? Like,
Amen.
I did think it. I don't know if it's a rigorous admissions process.
And the
for
other one at
GW.
Dartmouth.
The other one was at Dartmouth?
Yeah.
Or Emerson?
Emerson.
I have friends that went to
I got
Emerson
into
too.
NYU by the skin of my teeth
Oh,
and
as did I.
an audition from Night Mother.
Oh, mine was from a Christopher Durang play. I just remember
That's
Christopher
fun.
Durang.
I was playing a 70-year-old mother who had to listen to her daughter commit suicide.
I remember a lot of people use that piece. That was a popular piece for a 15-year-old girl at the time. It was like that and Agnes of God. There's a bunch of
Agnes
like,
of God was very popular.
yes, and Nuts.
Those were
Do you
the
remember
days.
Nuts?
I do remember Nuts.
I tried to sing in this NYU summer camp for musical theater. I went up in front of a Broadway actress and I said, I'll be singing Send in the Clown. She said, sit your ass down. Okay. She said, you don't have the
fabulous.
life experience.
To sing Send. That's like a
and
Gwen
that's a great
Verdon.
song.
So my parents paid for me to be able to sing that song. No.
Really?
Guys, Beverly Hills, what is going on with the Puppygate? Will you tell us your thoughts, Roxanne?
Oh, Puppygate. Well, yeah. Sorry, I was briefly thinking still about the college scandal. Like,
We
I
can go
gave
back.
Kyle Richards props for not buying her child into college. I was
looking
for a Real Housewife name
Me too.
on
I
that list. I was just
scanned that
like,
list.
this is right up their alley.
Or even
but-
Real Housewife adjacent, like a
Yes.
friend of, like a Cindy Barshop or something like that. It's like, is there and I did not see it. Disappointed.
Yeah, Doggate, I don't fully understand it. Since the beginning of it unfolding, I just thought, wait, what?
That seems to be popular
Like,
consensus.
I get that Dorit had the dog, Lucy Juicy Apple Poopy, whatever the fuck. So elaborate. I get that part. But I don't understand
the rest.
the rest of it. I don't understand why John Blizzard.
Yes, that name will be forever in the
His sweet,
annals of
sweet
Housewives
little
So great.
Beatles haircut.
Yes, who is 22 and clueless and thinks he's Lisa Vanderpump's peer. The audacity.
The audacity.
Well, I had a question because he seemed so afraid at that meeting. Like, I thought he would break into a million shards of
I was
glass.
hoping.
He was intimidated and out of his league. But I was like, is he being coached in this at all? Something about it to me.
Something felt a bit off.
Felt off.
Now, Teddy's revelation, I'm just trying to understand it. She basically said what?
My hands are not clean.
Yes, she was like, my hands are not clean. I was engaging in gossip. That's what she said. But according to the tweets that or the texts that Ken printed out in huge magnification on British paper,
on scroll and parchment.
Teddy told them to have a dog that looks like Dorit's dog there so that they could like manifest some shit.
Right. So it could just be brought up.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, but then couldn't go through with it is her defense. Like
in the face of committing such a crime, she couldn't go through with it. End of the day.
And I don't.
So why was she so defiant?
Well, that's the thing. Like, based on these texts, she was all up in it. And one of the sort of key orchestrators, that's why I don't fully understand. Like, is she a sociopath? Or does she really want to take Dorit down that badly and she's that deviant and a different kind of sociopath? Like, I'm down with whatever, but it's deeply confusing. Like, who cares? Dorit returned the dog. So the fuck what? Except that because like the thing is, as appalling as it is that she gave the dog away, but like sometimes a dog is not a good fit for a family.
Now there were two.
I fully believe that those kids were fucking with the dog. And the dog bit
I might
back.
go out on a limb and say when Lisa was saying at Vanderpump Dogs, like, it happened, it's okay. I'm not mad at Dorit. I'm not sure that I don't believe her.
I believe her. I think it then became more and more as more people got involved. I think this is the producers all over it, where the producers were like, yeah, like we need you to do this and we need you to do that. And now it's this incomprehensible drama, which lets you know not one interesting thing happened this season. If this is the cornerstone, but something interesting did happen. When they were in the Bahamas, an investor in Dorit's bathing suit line started chasing her around the pool area saying, when are you going to pay me my $300,000? It's on Instagram.
What?
Yes.
What?
And it was being videotaped because the camera crew was there and it didn't make it into the show.
What are you saying right now?
What?
She was there?
Yes. It happened live and in
Where
person.
did you find this piece of
With
unearthed
her.
footage?
Look at my Twitter thread from last night. Someone tweeted it into my timeline and said they did have drama. And the Bravo producers edited it out.
Why?
And that's the question.
That's the question.
This is like a
question. Did
Andy?
Dorit
this is
beg
like
them?
the Zapruder video. Like
Andy?
Because this is delicious, but they never ever they never talk about the financial problems these people have. Like PK and Dorit are selling their house.
I feel like that's
because
under
they
the
can't
like
afford
kids
it.
thing. Like we don't go there.
Yeah, we don't pretend that they're not really rich. And like PK owes a casino in Vegas like $1.9 million or $1.3 million. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's like, first of all, how do you get that deep in debt at a casino? Like what were you doing? Like betting it all on one?
that's how these people are
Roulette
sociopaths in a way that I don't understand. To owe that much money and then to still go on a reality TV show and pretend as if
everything is fine.
that is not stressful. Like I couldn't walk out of my house. I'd be so stressed all the time. Like how they just move through life and not only move through life, but move through TV.
Well, we know Dorit is, as Margaret Josephs called Danielle in the third part reunion, a decadent spender.
She is the Louis Vuitton dishes.
Oh, wow.
Hermes dishes, which I didn't even know Hermes made dishes.
Yeah.
And now
I
that
knew
I've
they made
seen the
blankets
dishes,
because I've been in Kyle's home.
Yes, Kyle has an Hermes
Now
blanket.
that I see they make dishes, I fucking want one.
What? Just one dish.
Just one, because that's all I can afford.
Yeah.
When she was like, "Oh, this was $17,000," I was like,
$17,000.
"It's not even like I could probably." In 10 years, save enough money to do that, but I would be so terrified of breaking them at all times that I couldn't handle that. But I would love just like one plate, and I would frame it,
Yeah.
and just look at it because those plates were works of art.
Oh,
Yes,
beautiful.
they
If
were.
I ever win the lottery, though, all my dishes are going to be Hermes.
Oh.
Yep.
Each and every single one of them.
Yep. Now, you were saying lastly on Beverly Hills that everyone was tweeting us they're upset about the...
Yes. Now, here's something that I noticed a lot of people were tweeting at me, that they were upset that the Richards girls ordered their steaks well done. And
I
extra
tweeted about
well
that
done.
last night, too. It's deeply upsetting. Also, Denise Richards' husband
Yes.
ordered his steak well
I'll
done.
speak to this. As someone who orders a steak well done, it is something when you grow up with no money, and no class. And I put myself in that category. And I know you're going to say, oh, the Kyle Richards goes, it's not even no money. It's like when Candy went to Tokyo and was like, where's my fries? Like, that's me too. And it's a very dark part of myself where you just want something like good, and you don't want to see any red part of the meat. There's something about it that's like my favorite restaurant, TGI Fridays. Like, it all is of a piece.
I hear you in that, as if I would rather have a canned peach than a real peach any day of the week. Like, I would take a canned fruit.
Wow.
And like something right off the vine. I'm like,
I'll eat a spaghetti-o.
Oh, in a
yes,
second.
happily.
Okay.
A Chef Boyardee ravioli.
A Lunchable.
Come on.
A Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Like, these are the tools, the fruits of my
I don't
growing
have
up.
the sophistication within my palate to order it, less than. And when I went to Italy, I would say, well done. I'm telling you, waiters walked away from the table.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have to say all of this is well and good, and we can enjoy our Chef Boyardee, but you need to get on board with a medium rare steak, which is the only way to eat steak.
Yes,
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
And
I'm
I'm
also
also
medium rare.
And I know we're already eating steak, and that's its own complication for people and problematic.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, but you're seeing
The
it
cows
just,
are dead already.
You're seeing it bleed onto the plate. It's onto the Hermes plate.
Blood.
It's not blood.
It's
It's
Guys.
It's delicious protein juice. Okay,
Guys.
you need to go to
beef juice.
Mastro's in Beverly Hills, where all of the sort of
Well, I've had their onion ring tower.
I mean, so
yeah.
delicious. And what I love about Mastro's is that I can play my favorite Los Angeles game there. Uncle, grandfather, father, boyfriend. And it's always boyfriend.
You can play that at preschools out here too.
Yes, you can. Oh, I know.
Who's chasing that little one? You're like, oh, Grandpa's day.
He's on his third family.
He's like, I am her brother.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so when you go there, you're going to just try it once.
You don't find the music too loud at Mastro's?
I find it way too loud. I'm just like, it's oppressive.
Yeah.
All that singing.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
pipe
I love
down.
a steak at
You
Mozza.
have the microphone right in front of you.
The balsamic steak at Mozza.
Oh, it's delicious.
You'll never have a better one.
Oh,
and
I
do
love
it as
Mozza.
well done as
Oh.
possible.
No.
That's actually my favorite restaurant
Mine
in LA.
too.
Oh, it's
Roxanne.
so
I've
good.
never had a
Love
bad
to sidle
meal
up to
there.
the bar with you there one
I would
night.
love to. It's so hard to get a table at a decent time, but if you plan far enough ahead.
I'm always eating at like 5:45 or 10:45.
Yes, it's one or the other. That sweet spot of 7:30. It clearly
My
goes to
husband
the,
and I
the
have been
fancy
going out
people.
for our date nights at like a 5:30, and I'm enjoying that
Me
time
too.
of
Are
day
you?
before the
because the
I-
restaurant's empty and you can hear conversation.
Exactly, and also
do
like
a lot
our
of-
sitter will stay to like set, you know what I mean?
And you're
It's
in
like-
bed by 8.
I do a lot of 5:30 dinners
I
with
enjoy it.
someone, and I sometimes just think this is senior citizen hour, but other
No,
times
this
I
is
just think
living.
we can hear each other.
Yes.
And then just as we're leaving around 7, the restaurant starts to fill up with the beautiful people, and I'm just like, aha, out right on time.
I'm thrilled to go out at a 5:30.
Guys, speaking of the beautiful people, shall we move to Vanderpump?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yes. Oh, there's a lot happening this season. And by a lot, I mean there's nothing happening
Yep.
this season. But
Yes.
it's deeply compelling. It remains the best show on television.
It does. I am so attracted to Tom Schwartz, even though we seem to go on a date with Stassi to the waxing
Yes.
salon.
Yes. Also,
How many openings?
when they were talking about becoming parents the other day, I was truly horrified because the way I was just thinking, look, this is well and good, and we can pretend that you people are business people and like you have careers and whatnot, but we need to draw a line. Like, parenthood is not an option that you should avail yourselves of.
None
yet.
of them.
Failures.
Jax will become a father, and I find that terrifying.
I do find that terrifying. That's clearly
He
like
will
why he's
fill
with
Brittany with babies.
Absolutely, and Brittany will provide them.
Oh yes, she will.
I love Jax's new take, which is like, I am a fiance now, and I need to speak with my girlfriend before I can commit to a bachelor trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah,
It's
he
like,
is.
Jax,
This
please.
Jax 3.0, it's clearly a role that he's playing for this season. Like, he's just decided, I've been the asshole, I've been the playboy, I've been the shitty boyfriend, so now I'm going to be like the responsible family man.
Let me try this
But
on for size.
How long can he sustain it?
Not
It
long. A season at best.
at best. Absolutely at
Here's
best.
a question: when Tom Sandoval went in to buy his motorcycle for the opening, why not rent? Was a question I asked myself
You know,
in these times.
that's a really good question.
Nobody
because-
presented it. What Ariane, who seems to have slightly a head on her shoulders
Slightly.
sometimes.
but she's baffling. I don't understand what's going on. Why are they still together?
Great question.
They're not having sex.
No.
She clearly is ready to just be with a woman full time.
100%.
And like, she's clearly gay or
And she has
bisexual.
disdain for him.
Yes, she does not like him unless she's abusing him, which is also, if that's your kink and that's his kink, then by all means.
I think he does love that about her.
Oh, I think so.
He was also with Kristen, who was abusing him.
He's definitely a masochist who needs a powerful woman who will treat him with disdain and cruelty.
As is Schwartz.
Yes.
And I do
yes. Oh my God. Schwartz is just like, Katie abused me, and Katie is more than happy to oblige.
Exactly.
I'm so attracted to Tom Schwartz. It is wild.
What is wrong with
I don't
you?
know, that floppy little hair, that little alcoholic.
Not for me. That adorable little alcoholic.
When he pulled out that bottle at the waxing salon, and he's like, "Oof, I haven't been drinking in a while." This is wild.
10 minutes.
The alcoholism on that show is unbelievable. Like it's hit a tipping point. Yes,
Yeah.
like where like
A point of like actual concern.
yes,
Yeah.
like the way that they're all like, oh, I haven't drank in a day. You're like, that should be okay.
Yeah,
and
that's
the way that they
kinda
look
normal.
forward to drinking in a way, like, and not just drinking a glass of wine, but like getting wasted to me is of concern.
Yes.
Kristen
Their
and
livers.
Carter
Ugh.
are a dark pair. Is Carter dyeing his hair and beard?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Just double
He's trying to like age himself down for some reason. It's a lot, which is because Kristen doesn't look.
He's a mean guy.
Yeah. Oh, and Kristen doesn't seem to realize she can do better. And
And I don't know that
also,
she can.
she's just a horrible person. With all of them, there's no there. So, like, these guys know that and date them and treat them like crap because they are like, well, I'm the best thing you've got going, so suck it up. It actually breaks my heart as a human being, as a feminist.
You seem very broken up.
So devastated. Couldn't happen to a better person.
You are losing sleep over
But
this.
that's the challenge with these shows
Yes.
and with these people. Like, they do things that you find morally repugnant, but they're so morally repugnant that you're like, well,
Have you cried ever watching these shows? Because I have.
all the time.
all
I
the
cry.
time.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Last week.
These are my stories.
Yeah.
I'm deeply, deeply invested.
Me
I
And
think about that when
actually,
they're not on.
LVP, especially what LVP is going through right now, she seems truly like unhinged and truly
Broken.
Like, aside from the dramatics of the show, she seems genuinely devastated by the loss of her brother.
Yeah.
And I think the producers don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with real grief and real emotion. And so that's why everything is fucked up right
And
now.
same with Nene and Greg. They've got me
Yep.
crying. I think I even cried on the Jersey reunion with Teresa, something in there.
Oh, I don't watch Jersey. Teresa's face has morphed into something odd. And I just find it I find it unpleasant to watch. Like, and the tan is getting darker and darker, and she's morphing. And I don't know what her final form is going to be.
Where we're going.
Yeah, where we're
To
ending.
touch on Jersey so briefly because you haven't watched, but the reunion just came to a close, and Teresa did just so openly admit, which I have never seen before. She's like, if Joe is deported, I am not going with him. We will go our separate ways. And Andy handled it so beautifully, so delicately. He kept asking questions that were right on the line. Like, I've never heard you say this before. And it was truly, I've never seen her stand that strong, I will
No,
say.
she is never. I think because she's dating.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, we've seen her in Daily Mail holding a guy's hand.
I'm like, I have a suspicion. It's like, I've seen it. We've seen her stand.
She's
Yeah.
clearly, I don't think they're together. I think they're together in name only until this prison thing is over.
And I think Joe is
But the
so
marriage was
volatile.
over long before.
Yeah.
You think?
Well, actually, not long before. The marriage was over when she went to prison, because I think she's one of those sort of old school women who's like, you didn't protect me. You didn't do your job as a man.
And I'm serving time because of you.
Yes.
Away from my children
And then
Correct.
her mother passed shortly after she
Yes.
got back, and she.
I think that
How
was
can
the
you
final
forgive
straw.
that? I mean, if that happened to me and I went to jail for you, and then my mother died immediately after I got out, and I didn't have a chance to spend those years or those months with my mom, and I was locked up, I just, that's unforgivable to me.
Unforgivable. It was also unforgivable when Danielle Staub gave her a friendship Tiffany's bracelet with the letters D&T on it.
Well, everybody kissing her ring, like everybody coming with gifts for her at the
so
reunion.
strange.
It was strange.
Well, look, the mob shows up in
And that's why I think
most
the only
unexpected
reason Teresa
ways.
can start dating is because literally Joe is behind bars and can't get to her. I could see him like really running amok with violence.
Yes, he seems to have a bit of a rage problem
I think
and
she
a
wants him
steroid
there.
problem. Oh, I think he's exactly where she wants him to be. And I think she's dreading the day he gets out.
But isn't because I heard today that he's actually got out of prison today into ICE, like ICE, like to get deported.
Wow.
Oh, is
Like,
that happening like right
just
now?
Like as
Today?
we speak, like not like to await a sentencing or like a
Right.
hearing
As we
about if he
speak.
gets deported.
So is he an Italian citizen?
Yes, he came here as a child.
Oh my God, he's a dreamer.
Yeah, he's.
Sorry. It's just
To think of Joe Giudice as a
To
dreamer.
think of all the-
like I
it's
think of
just-
the actual dream, you know,
As
like
beautiful
these like
people.
young kids
Exactly,
who
because they
trying-
are beautiful people, but then you also have like this dumbass. And what's interesting is that Trump will never acknowledge like that the actual dreamers that we're fighting for
Like-
are amazing people.
Yeah.
And then here's this piece of shit that is exactly what he is pretending the dreamers are.
And Donald's
And
wife.
he would be like, no, I bet he would pardon the shit out of Joe
Oh yeah, in a
Giudice
second. I
if he
think
could.
Teresa has asked him to. I
I'm sure she
believe
has.
That is
Last
happened.
little bit on Jersey, Teresa admitting that Melania threw her vibrator in a lake.
like to see some fishes.
That's how you punish a child. Like, you are grounded, young lady. How dare
How
you?
dare you?
Back to Vanderpump, Stassi's boobs, and I know we've said it, and I hate to get into a woman like this, but they're so large in these tops that she's wearing.
they're so-
Amen.
In your face, like they're just.
Oh, it's clearly
About-
that you two are heterosexual.
Oh,
Bless
no,
your heart.
I like a good.
Okay,
no,
you're
I will
liking
say,
glancing at them.
I will say
I'm
that a
not
nice
saying
pair
I
of
don't
boobs.
I find Stassi to be morally repugnant, but aesthetically pleasing. I think she's
Don't find her to be kind of a basic.
she's deeply basic, but there's something hot about it.
Yeah, she's
Right.
hot.
Like, she leans into it. She's just like, yes, I'm blonde and I have huge boobs and an amazing body and a horrible attitude about
And a
everything.
horrible sense of
And
style.
it's just like, I'm past that phase of my life, but in my 20s, I would have dated the shit out of her.
Wow.
Oh,
What
absolutely.
about Lala? I find Lala to be the sexiest.
too.
I'm deeply into Lala
Yeah,
as well.
I
Me
find her
too.
to be very
All
sexy
the blondes
and
on that
sexual.
show are fucking hot.
I was
Lala,
quite
Ariana.
turned on when I heard about Lala and Ariana.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
dude.
we
I
all
was here for it.
were.
I was here
Tom
for it.
Sandoval in the front, like shaking and sweating.
Yes, and it was actually one of the classiest moments on the show because Lala was really going to ride or die for Ariana and not give up the secret. And I was just like, look at them finally developing a moral code around sex.
It was
And
beautiful.
they're so proud of it. It was just, and I was proud of it. I was like, look it, they're bringing queerness in.
and it happened right in the back of that car
I did. And Sandoval just
on the
being the
PCH.
driver.
I know.
Yep.
Why didn't he try and?
Probably in a
Like, why
free
didn't you just
parking
go
lot.
up to like Mulholland and pull over at one of those pull-offs and just let them do their thing and like maybe just take a walk?
I know.
and now
let
is
them
he
do their
watching this
thing.
in the rear view, or he's just?
Or is he just listening to a podcast?
I hope that he was watching it. Like, I truly hope that he was watching it. But then he had the nerve to get all upset about it.
Exactly, because I
But
think
I was
it's
like, buddy,
probably
you
the
were
most she
there.
had gotten off.
Yes. And I think he wanted to join in the way men always want to join in, like, because they think a threesome's a great idea until
But he
the
wasn't
women
welcome.
realize we
He was
actually
not.
don't need you.
No, sorry.
And their sex life is very fraught.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I
apparently
think-
so is Katie and Schwartz's. He said they only have sex once a month.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, he said that
said
last
that.
week.
I missed that part.
Yes.
What's a month? Like, well, then why be married? That's just, I just don't understand
That
it.
is why we decide to be with one person. That's the.
I like regular sex.
So do I.
I'm a fan of it. And the whole
My husband enjoys it.
And Danielle is.
Danielle's like,
Look, I do.
I can take it or leave it.
You're being held hostage in a beautiful way.
My husband really enjoys me, and I enjoy him.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good. And it's, it's just, I was telling my girlfriend this the other day. I was like, look, I mean, every day can be a bit much, but
Oh God,
I'm-
I can't go there.
more than happy to do that. But like, if we're not having, not we, her and I, but just people in a couple, if you're not having regular sex, you're roommates or friends. And I have enough friends. I don't need a roommate. So either we're going to like get down or we're not.
Yeah, what
Like,
is separating this from a friendship? Nothing.
exactly? And so
and they don't
once
seem
a
to
month,
like each other, so
is
their
a friendship.
friendship is not.
And
what,
we're already.
What are they?
When
They
we're
should have
locked-
never gotten married though. We knew that.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
like in the woods. Like, come on. That was really weird because they don't seem like people who are particularly in tune with nature.
No.
So it was just like, where are you coming up with this retreat situation?
I hated her dress too.
It was horrible. Their wedding depressed me. Like, and the way they were all staying in the cabin, it just felt
Well, the most depressing wedding
bad.
was Sheena Shea.
Well, and it ended as you would expect a wedding like that.
I need more
to
Sheena
end.
Shea right now. I feel they're not focusing on her enough, and I don't know if it's the move to Marina Del Rey.
I'm obsessed
I don't know if it's
with the move to
the
Marina Del
sunglasses
Rey.
rack.
I think she moved to Marina Del Rey, and I said this on Twitter, but I think that I think she has a sugar daddy, because who else would move someone out to Marina Del Rey? It's the end of the world in terms of Los Angeles,
Right.
and where she, like, the hotbed of the show is Hollywood. And so that's like 90 minutes of multiple interstates.
And watching her try to convince everyone
that
it's
was so
25
sad.
minutes with no traffic.
Begging,
Sweetie, it's an
Katie.
hour and a half if it's a day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm, as someone who lives not far from Marina Del Rey,
Yeah, it took me a long time to get
it
here.
takes forever to get out here.
Yeah.
It's really, really far because the 405 is very, very bad. Now, I'm from a real place, and so 10 miles is 10 miles to me. I'm not going to play these LA games. But the minute she said she was in MDR, I was just like, well, then, you're never going to see the rest
The
of them
camera crew
ever
doesn't
again.
even want to go
Yeah,
out there.
they
no.
have not. They've been there once. They're
What?
like, and
Because
that's
it's the end of the world.
For that very sad hot barbecue.
Oh, that barbecue depressed my
Devastating.
soul. Like,
Devastating.
I am not, I'm 44. I'm not that interesting, but I could pull together a better barbecue in an hour than whatever that was. And then she was like, yeah. And my mom decorated, and the guy she's having sex with that she's pretending isn't her boyfriend.
Yes.
That's because that's how I know the sugar daddy thing is real. That's why she's an MDR.
How about when
She wants what Lala has.
Oh,
Where was Lala this
absolutely.
episode?
I don't know.
I thought maybe taking a trip back to visit her mom.
Something. She's probably engaging with her real life because of all of these people. She's actually the only one who's clearly loved
Yeah.
by a family.
Right. Yes.
Like an engaged family. Like, her family is clearly in her life, clearly pulls her back from the edge when she just takes it a little too far. And you can tell she's loved, and I like that about her. That's why she's probably my favorite.
No, yeah. And she's got genuine confidence.
She does. I
Oh.
mean, she should. Like, when she's driving around in the Rolls, like,
She
girl,
should.
do it.
Now, how about when Tom and Tom were meandering through Gelson's and they said the
Yeah.
following lines: "Butt plugs in the produce, that's bold. Well, that's West Hollywood."
And I'm like, I'm sure it was like a zester or something.
I'm sure it was. But what would they know about
You
things that happen in the
dum-dums.
kitchen?
How about the shot of the three women from the Midwest watching Jax make their drink? I don't know if you caught that.
Oh, I caught that.
It was so sweet and devastating.
Yeah, just like, and he couldn't make them a mojito, so he made them something.
Yeah, when
else.
he denied, he was like, I'm not going to make you this drink.
He's like, because I'm not really a bartender here.
It's called a phone. And on the phone, you access a website called google.com. And then you look up how to make the drink and bartend the shit out of it.
But
What the
also,
fuck?
in LA, people order mojitos all
the
the
time.
So to not know how to make it was strange.
He's such a lazy
you get some
motherfucker.
mint and some rum, probably, and some juice of some kind that's like, I think, lime.
Yes.
Do you think Jax will bartend at Tom Tom?
Is that where we're
I feel like
going?
that'll be the
Is that where we're
ultimate, just like
heading?
slap in the face.
I think that is the ultimate slap because he thinks of himself as sort of the grandfather of the show.
As he is.
And he is. He's my age, so he's very much the grandfather. Quite frankly, he's older than LVP. And so when she didn't name a store Jack Jack,
That must have been.
oh, knife in the heart. That she
Knife.
went with Tom Tom.
He's so upset
like
about
the
that.
two sort of floppiest, most incompetent.
Never worked. They're like, we really going to need a vacation the day Tom Tom opens.
10% stakeholders when they came together with their little coins to buy in.
And literally, when they show up to the restaurant every week or so, they're like, "Well, what do you need from us?" Like, they have no job.
Tom Shorts
there.
is like, I will count the tables. I'll put them in order.
He couldn't, and he could not do that
Yep.
correctly.
It breaks my heart sometimes to see how they really think that they're part of the business, but Lisa basically just created the business, created the menu, and did everything without them. And they just sort of show up. She basically used their names, but it's also the most generic name in the history of names. So it doesn't even have to really be connected to them.
They're mascots. They're like that
They
big
are.
boy.
She's
in front
like,
of big
here's how
boys."
you're useful to me. I will let you go on a vacation to create content for my popular show. I need
Absolutely.
you on an island somewhere.
When are they going to spin it off, though? I want to see Tom Tom just as a show.
Really?
I do.
You don't think we're seeing Tom Tom?
I do, but like I want all Tom
more.
Tom, and I want to see the Toms a little more engaged,
More
and
of those
like
clocks,
just little escapades and things like that, and like inventing little drinks.
Is there enough there? I mean, I guess, but they'd have to.
They're thinking about doing a Vanderpump Dogs spinoff, so
Blizzard and Sesh.
John Blizzard and John Sesh.
I don't know who's going to be on the show.
John.
But the rumor on the streets is that the reason this dog storyline is happening and is so prominent is because they're going to spin off Vanderpump
We're being
Dogs.
played by Vanderpump.
Yes.
Not
and the other cast members are pissed because they're not getting paid.
Oh, I saw. Actually, now I'm thinking.
Yes.
Okay, why do you say you don't understand this? You have the answers.
I know all people
know
don't
everything.
realize just how seriously I take Bravo television.
So they're pissed because they haven't been negotiated and they're making storylines for this show that Lisa Vanderpump will ultimately be profiting on.
Exactly. And this will make Lisa's third show on Bravo. Wow. But I mean, the reality is I think Lisa brings in viewers. Say what you will, she's Villa Blanca's still open.
And I don't think Erica's bringing
And it's not for the food. And it's not for the food.
And Kyle by Aileen 2 has shuttered its doors. Guys,
And
last thing, I found it, and I know I'm going to hear about this, but I found it very gross when they were in the cat cafe.
Oh,
I don't believe in cat cafes. I don't believe in cats.
Me neither. And that's not something I want to mix, a beverage and a cat.
Yeah, I don't understand the appeal. I have recently had cats enter my life by way of my girlfriend, and
I'm sorry.
Sorry for your loss.
The cats are okay. One of the cats is great. His name is Theo, and Theo and I get along. The other cat is a little asshole. His name is Lou, and he's very territorial. And when I'm over there, he's mean to me. He sleeps on my pillow, even though he knows I'm allergic. It's just a lot. And so,
but I feel like we're always in a battle of wills with a cat. You
absolutely,
don't find that with a dog.
They're just they're otherworldly and demonic a bit, and so I would not want to socialize and have beverages and food products and cats in the same, because I don't like when they lick themselves.
No,
the sound is repulsive to me. I have a problem with saliva, whether it's animal or human, and it's a lot.
Guys, let's take a break.
Take a break.
We're back. Shall we get into New York?
Yes.
Now, thoughts on we're 3 episodes in. No, 2 episodes in. We're 2 episodes in. We are. Luann is 5 days fresh from rehab and knows it all. Correct?
Of course. The newly converted,
Calling out Dorinda.
yes, who I guess does need to be called out, but it's I guess ironic or funny or weird or absurd that she's calling out Dorinda with such fervor when she was messily swaying about the show last season, which was a few months ago. It's just Luann
Calling strangers to borrow $6 million to
buy a house in upstate New York.
That is,
Girl, what are you going to do upstate?
that is
First of all,
some alcoholic business.
What do we make of a gal named Barbara Kay?
her house is incredibly tacky.
Yes.
The furniture in her Hamptons house, I was just like, what Kmart furnishings do we have here? What is happening?
Well, Barbara Kay seems to focus on the construction of the
bones.
home.
Yes,
of the
bones
house.
of the house are great.
As I've heard.
Bethany's house.
Handing out toolkits.
Bethany.
I am ready to move in.
Me
Those
too, that
fur
rental
benches
house.
for the kitchen, for the dining table. I was like,
Gorgeous.
I'm ready to get them immediately because I don't love my dining chairs.
Guys, I don't care for it.
Really? I thought it was beautiful.
Everything Bethany
was well
designs,
done.
I think it's we want to like it, but it's cold.
Oh, I'm cold though.
Oh, okay.
In terms of my design interests.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I
your
mean,
home
it seems
is
warm,
home
but
feels
this is because
warm.
I hired a designer and she did a really good job.
feels beautifully warm.
Yes, that's the designer. If I had my way, I would be living in one of those box concrete houses in the hills with a bunch
Like
of
a
austere
prefab?
furniture. Not prefab.
Okay.
Let's simmer
Sorry.
down. But one of those Bird Streets houses that just looks like brutalist concrete construction. That's where my soul is. Just empty and void.
Mine is a rambling farmhouse.
Oh, well, then this is your home right here.
It
This is it.
Yes, I do
They
love-
call this modern farmhouse.
I love modern farmhouse.
Me too, and you
I'm into it though. I have gotten into it because I was just well,
Like the
for now,
painted
this is
over
good.
brick and stuff. I love that.
Gorgeous tree in your backyard.
The tree is nice. I do like it. And it provides us with oxygen.
Now, speaking of decor, Sonia said something troubling and very sad. She said, "Oh, this couch isn't supposed to be here. We're going to eBay it." Her new place, taking towels and using masking tape to tape up
It
towels.
felt so very Sonia. And as I said last week in my little excerpt, those towels are still there. I have no doubt that those have not been replaced.
Damn towels, STAM.
Now, Dorinda's sending a Tyler Perry quote to...
My God. My God. I
heaven.
live. What
I
on earth?
screamed
And
when I
then the
heard
way they
Tyler
were all
Perry.
like, why not use Gandhi? And I was
like,
why not?
No,
Because when she was reading the quote, I was like, this is a bit much, a little cheesy. But then
Tyler Perry. I was like, I'm only sending
Did
Tyler
Dorinda
Perry.
have that quote like that really struck her at the time, or did she look up quotes regarding this subject matter?
I think she did what all of us do, which is like quote freedom. Like, quote whatever subject matter. And then
Right.
the quote garden website comes up and you're like,
Tyler
Or so
Perry.
I
It was
hear.
unexpected.
It was unexpected.
was
and that's
very
what I
unexpected.
loved about
But
it.
what shocked me was that they knew who Tyler Perry was.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any black friends.
Nope.
And so I was just like, wow, does Tyler Perry have more crossover than I thought? And I love how each of them were like, I love Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah, because everyone had to be like, oh,
It's like, you don't even know what he does.
You couldn't name one of his movies.
Could I point to his
Seriously.
latest trailer? And maybe I already did.
Medea's funeral? Or Medea's
Medea's
funeral?
in which it made me laugh. It was so crazy. They are trying to close a coffin but can't because the dead has a boner.
Yes.
I love it so much.
Yes.
Thank you. And honestly, Luann was like, I need a little more depth than Tyler Perry. It's like, sweetie, he has
you
so
have
much
no
more depth.
than you.
Than you will ever
And I
get to
can't
have.
stand Tyler Perry, not as a person, but just the kind of work he does and the damaging messages and the sort of morality tales that he puts forth about black women and ambition and so on. But
You didn't like I Can Do Battle by Myself?
no, I didn't.
It's
I will say when he gets into
unbelievable
Medea,
when
though,
she gets, spoiler alert, HIV at the end.
Yeah.
and it's
I screamed.
Which
in the
happens
theater.
all the time, like Temptation.
Yeah.
yes.
Also, where she gets HIV and then she goes to her ex-husband to fill her fucking
Yes.
prescription.
I-
How dare you?
But and the way that
I wrote a whole
the way
essay
that it
about it.
manifests
You
itself,
did?
It's in Bad Feminist.
I screamed.
the way that it manifests itself in a limp, like
Yes.
that's how you know
Like,
that
that's-
she has
She's got
it.
the HIV, and you know what HIV does? It affects your gait.
It was so strange. But I will say this: when he is doing Medea, it is a great performance. Like that's his best acting. Like
Oh,
when he's
yes.
just himself, I don't think he's a great actor.
Oh, I know, but Mr.
when he
Deeds,
hides in the Medea costume, he's amazing in that character. Which I
Interesting.
find when he hides himself.
I'll have to think about that some.
What do you think?
I have to think about it.
as
I
someone
haven't
who's-
seen a lot of Medea. I've seen enough.
I
to get
wish
the
it were
gist,
funnier if it's going to be
Yes.
that.
but
It's not
that makes
Eddie Murphy in
sense.
the
You know what
It
I'm
might be
saying?
uncomfortable. Yeah, because he's incredibly stiff when he's himself.
Uh-huh.
Like in the Good Mr. Deeds or Good Deeds.
Yes, and in the movie that you were in with him,
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Thank you. He's a lovely in person.
Yes. Oh, I have no
Oh,
doubt.
good. That's good to know.
But I agree with you. His movies are so deeply misogynistic.
They just really are. And he has some really troubling notions about black women. He uses HIV extremely cavalierly when he could be using it because he's so powerful in the black community to educate the community about HIV, that it's treatable, that it's not a disease that you deserve, that it's not about promiscuity. It's really
He
just
uses it
about
as a punishment.
Yes, exactly. It's like about unsafe sex. It's what happens when you don't use a condom. And so, yes. But I was stunned when Tyler Perry came up. Like, if you had asked me what is the most unexpected thing that they could conjure,
If you gave me 2 years to think, who would
I
have
would
quoted
never have
that?
come up
I
with
would
Tyler
never.
Perry. And Dorinda, of all people, who has never been seen with a black person in her life.
I was just thrilled to be surprised.
It
The
felt really
show's
good.
like in its 9,000th season.
Yeah, like to
They're
be
still
be
serving up some
surprised
freshness.
to not go with Gandhi,
Yeah.
to not go with like Eleanor Roosevelt,
Instead,
or what,
she just goes with that scholar Tyler Perry.
just a shock.
You'll
And I
be
was
folding
thrilled.
that into your new class. Yeah,
I
the
think
class
I
you're
will.
teaching.
I think I will. In the immortal words of Tyler Perry.
Do
Now-
you guys think we have a lot coming? Because when I saw that dun, 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 that trailer, I got chills. But I'm like, do we have anything coming? I think
New
we
York
do.
does always deliver. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what we have coming. I
don't
see
either. I
it.
can't. The first 2 episodes have not. It's just been so Hampton centric, and it's just like them swanning around being wealthy that I'm not sure. But it is interesting to see the come up because so many of them were broke in the first few seasons, and like Bethany is now full fledged, like bought her way into what she's always craved. I don't know where it's gonna go though.
Will
like-
Scott ever marry Tinsley?
No, they've
No.
broken up.
They've broken up.
Yes. She was spotted at a nightclub.
Heart breaks for her.
Tinsley
broke up
after
with her.
Topper wasn't Topper Mortimer.
Topper Mortimer.
Topper.
Oh God.
I love
Talk about someone who probably bought their way into school. Topper Mortimer's
Oh,
family.
I was just Danielle. We are like right here. You are picking up what I'm putting down. I was just gonna say like, they bought their way
Oh,
into
for
whatever
sure.
school they
And
went
so
to.
did Dale.
Dale.
Put down some money. When Ramona did the testimonial, I feel bad Bethany lost her friend Dennis because I know she doesn't have many friends.
Yeah, she doesn't have many
What
friends.
a quote.
Well, what she says to him next week about Dennis being a drug addict when she's like in the preview for next week, like she's cruel.
Who, Bethany?
No,
Ramona.
Ramona is like Bethany. You just know what you're getting with her.
Yeah.
She's just always a bitch.
Yeah.
But she's generally saying accurate, truthful things. She's grounded in reality.
Yes.
Ramona is cruel. I don't care for Ramona. I don't enjoy seeing her on the screen. I don't think she's cute or funny.
You
She
didn't
would
enjoy her
definitely buy
flirting?
her child into a college.
Oh,
You didn't enjoy her
went
flirting
to-
with that weird swimming instructor?
Avery's
the
at
tennis
UVA.
instructor.
Oh, the tennis one too. How she got so jealous.
I forgot
of
about the swimming
Tinsley.
one because the way she was all over the tennis instructor who, I mean, age is just a number, but girl, no. He's not that into you.
When she's like,
he
I'm
was
able-
that into Tinsley.
Oh, he
And
was.
she can't play like all those lessons and she can't even hold the racket right. I'm no athlete, but I have played tennis and I know I'm a better tennis player than Ramona. And I was truly stunned to see how bad she was at holding that racket.
I was also
And
stunned how
Tinsley-
bad Teddy was at golf, watching
Yeah.
her. Oh,
I was like, white people, these are your natural sports. What is
if
happening
you can't
here?
do this.
Like, what can you do?
A workout video.
And Tinsley clearly was good at tennis in that way that wealthy people are
Yes.
good at tennis. And so I was really impressed. I was like, go ahead, Tinsley. Like,
Tinsley lives up to what she
She was bred.
Yes.
She was bred to be a tennis playing wife.
And I'm sure
exactly.
You know, Ramona
She's
was
living
not.
exactly the life she needs, except for the husband part. She did have Topper, and it just didn't work
I'm
out.
sure she skis beautifully.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure she's played polo or at least been to a polo match.
Oh, yes.
Now, why can't she?
Get a man.
Yeah. I mean, I think we know why.
I think she's probably just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and not in the way of like genuine mental illness, but just insecure.
Needy. Clingy.
And those are normal things. Like, we all have insecurities and we need to be loved and we need attention. But I think that she is an overdrive.
Well, the way
I think she's like Sheena Shea was last year with Rob.
Yes, like extraordinarily high maintenance. I think she's like asks about like, do you want to settle down and have kids after the first date?
Well, the way that when he went and visited her last year and she fell to the ground like in tears because he surprised her was like, what
bit
is
much.
happening?
And also, who have you dated before that romantic but typical gesture? I mean, like, that's what you should expect. Like, that's normal
Yeah.
relationship stuff. Yeah,
She
it was
fell-
disproportionate.
Fell to the ground. Why can't he just give it to her though? Like, what is he so special?
Because
that-
she wants it so badly.
She wants it so badly, and I think he knows that he can't really give her what she wants. I wish some guy would just
He can
be
give her a
like, you know
coupon
what?
cabin."
I want a society wife.
Yes.
And I can afford to. Like, surely there's an investment banker.
That man was Topper, and she cheated on him.
Yes, but
So
I'm
she
sure
does
he
need more?
cheated on her too.
You're right.
If with a name like Topper.
Yeah, he was tip-topping all over.
Topper and Tinsley, like they really were made for each
I
other.
know.
How do you you would
But
think
why isn't the
just
cheating
make it work.
okay? That's what I want to know. In a relationship like that, when that's par for the course, like that's what you're
That's
set
all they
to
do. Yeah.
Like,
That's what
why
you're
was
meant to
that
do.
I wonder like
problem?
what else is going on like that they couldn't I hope there were like
let's not
it might be
forget-
abuse.
Let's not forget when Tinsley was arrested for stalking. And I met someone who told me that they know that guy's family and that he's a very nice, normal guy. Because part of me was kind of holding on to this thing of like, something's wrong with him and she couldn't have done this. I don't know why, but I don't know, guys. I think she might be verging into some territory.
So it's almost 12:30. Do you want to do the script?
What do you think? Should we cut it?
The script?
Yeah.
We could always do it.
We can do it. I'm
Yeah,
down.
okay.
I think it would be.
Because we don't want to take all of your time. Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Anything else on
Just the
ye old
Dorinda.
New York?
The Dorinda is an alcoholic, though she might be a pause right now, but she is an alcoholic who is in deep denial about it.
She is. And also deep denial about her rage problem. And the whole like invite her, disinvite her from the clam bake. Also clam bake. I was just like, what year is this?
What's happening?
So it's like
The way they pretend to really be part of society when true society mavens would never be on reality television charms me every week.
But we're all kind of letting it go.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm buying
Because
the
it's
fiction.
deeply enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's deeply, deeply enjoyable. Also, when Bethany said how much she rented out her Hamptons house for, I just thought, how do I get in on this? Other than like have millions of dollars to buy a home in the Hamptons, first of all. Anyway, I'm just deeply intrigued by Bethany.
I am too. I would
I
love
am
that
too.
house. And I would love to be out in the Hamptons for the summer. I think I wouldn't fit in, and I think it would be a miserable time for me.
I would love to. I've never been to the Hamptons, but I just want to live near Ina.
Oh, that's all I want in this world. I've been scouring
just be her friend.
podcasts lately to just hear her.
Danielle
on
waited in line and got a book signed by Ina.
in the rain.
At
Which
a
one
Barnes
did you go
and
to? The one at
Noble.
Costa Mesa?
No, I went to, it was like 5 years ago. I was newly pregnant, so like not feeling well. I waited in the rain for Ina at the
Worth it.
at the Williams Sonoma in Santa Monica.
Ah, yes.
And she's a class act. She served like tapas to everybody online.
Of course she
'Cause
did.
she's a
Because that's
fucking
what she
class
does. Ina
act.
is perfection. And right now she's taping her new season of Barefoot Contessa. And
She's really all I have in these troubled times.
Me too. I have been scouring podcasts to just listen to her on different, like her and Willie Geist. I listened to a conversation between those two the other day. I just scour podcasts to hear in interviews, and she's saying a lot of the same information on her book tour, but I don't care.
Don't care. Guys, before we get to a scene that we're all going to, I don't even want to say perform because we're going to simply read it and let the text wash over you all.
absolutely.
I just wanted to bring up two things that some listeners sent. One was a recent tweet that Lindsay Lohan tweeted.
Oh,
Simply-
Christ. Have you guys watched Lindsay's Beach Club?
I have not. Have you?
You need to catch up.
Is it?
So bad. It's so bland. And she's trying to like be a businesswoman, but it's worth watching.
Okay.
That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
No,
I'll
thank
dive
you.
in.
Okay, go on.
She tweeted simply, and someone said this sounds like a tweet my dad would have tweeted. My dad often tweets what he means to text people. It was simply at Instagram, please contact me.
I saw that yesterday and I was like, girl, it's just down.
Just please contact me.
Contact me.
And now
Get in
Vicky
touch.
Gumbelson has taken to Facebook surrounding the death of Luke Perry. And she's posted some words with a photo of Luke. And I just have to read this.
What?
Oh,
Someone
I
sent
didn't even
this.
know.
Great.
Wow.
She weighed in.
Oh,
Thank you, Vicky.
She weighed in and said, I know most of you have heard about the unfortunate passing of Luke Perry at the young age of 52. It makes you realize how important estate planning is and how not to procrastinate taking care of a trust, health directives, and securing life insurance for those left behind that you want to take care of. Plan for the unplanned. Visit www.cotoinsurance.com.
Vicky Gumbelson.
are you serious?
You are never not a genius. No, just kidding.
There's nothing she won't do. She is so. I actually don't watch
Shameless.
OC anymore because I find her unbearable. But she hasn't changed from season one. Like she's all about that life insurance, man.
Shameless.
Koto Insurance. And I'm like, girl, it's just a gated community. Like, let's
Truly
just
is.
What's
pull
going to
back.
happen? Bear. Let's take a break and we're going to come back with an important scene from Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're back.
Guys, this
Can
is...
you hand me my glasses?
Oh, yes, please. Here you go.
All right, we're doing a reading.
No, we're going to do an
love
important
this.
scene.
And
This
it's
is...
not a reading from one of your books.
No,
That's
no.
fine.
As much as we enjoy them.
Yes.
This is a reading from the best scene that has ever happened in Atlanta. And it was a scene, it didn't even include Nene Leakes. And that's how you know, it's like incredible that these women, even without Nene, can still have beautiful text.
And give this woman a peach, Miss
Yes.
Marlowe.
Miss Marlowe Hampton, give her
Why
a
doesn't
peach.
she have a peach yet?
I think Andy thinks she's too crazy.
Yeah.
In the way Danielle
Probably
Staub is not going to get one either, really.
She might be unhinged.
A little too much. So this
But-
takes place on a bus.
On a bus in Japan,
Oh, this is so
when
good.
the women are talking about, what are we going to wear to dinner that night? And we've seen between Eva and Marlowe some tension, and it comes to a head. Now,
And some tension concerning Eva's choice of wardrobe
now
and style.
Casey will be playing Eva, and Roxane will be playing Marlowe, and I will be playing Candy, Shamari, Cynthia, and Portia, as I'm a woman that can do many things.
You
I assign
are
myself.
doing it all.
I'm doing it all. So here we go. I'll begin. So are we supposed to be dressy or can we be casual?
Sexy casual, however that translates to you.
So I can wear some sneaky wedges and shit?
Don't put no sneaky wedges on.
So heels.
I know you ain't talking Eva. You're Birkenstock wearing ass.
Don't come for my flats.
I
My
don't know
flats
what's
are still
in my
Chloe
bag, child.
and Fendi and
Come
all of them
on
type
now.
things. I just choose to wear them flats.
Well, you can get cute ones at Zara.
Girl, you got me all the way twisted. I'm in motherfucking runway right now, so stop it. Okay, know this, sweetheart. These are every minute of a $1,200 flip flop.
I love Birkenstock. What are those? Those are $1,200 flip flops?
Yes, thank you. She don't sell nothing less than $1,000. Thank you very much. These are made in Italy, baby.
You done been here and not runway. Now you just done got the plug on it. Now chill out.
Ain't nobody just got no plug. Oh, no. She been doing this. I went from on the runway to off the runway every minute of 5'7". Been doing it since 18. I'm every minute of 33, poo.
Girl, stop now. Don't do that.
No, you don't do that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, you've been trying to pull me out my bag for a long time. I've been trying to sit in my bag and on my yoga mat.
No, come out. I want you to
Hey.
come out.
She said she's out of the bag, bitch.
Come out, bitch.
Push your wig down and leave me alone. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that.
Uh-oh, Marlowe Don got up. Oh, Lord.
Walk up. Walk up.
Oh.
Darling, you may have been on the runway since you was 5, but I have carried everything that's in my closet.
Because you're
from-
older than me. You're
Exactly.
42, Marlo.
and fabulous.
As you should have. You're
and
my elder.
everything that you
Girl,
wore
I have
on the
enough
runway is
cocktails,
in my
not
closet,
too many
darling.
things. This is what
and
I
didn't
own.
have to pull it.
This is what I
and I didn't
own.
have to borrow
This is
it.
what and you felt
you
it
can't
when?
fit nothing
Never?
on the runway now.
This is what and you felt it when? Never.
The money I spend,
January
baby,
of
they
never.
make it to fit me, darling. Trust.
The
it's
way-
a lifestyle.
The way
I live a
your ass
lifestyle.
is set up, you can never model.
This lady will never, ever be our tour guide again.
Since
That's
you
all I'm worried about.
was in your mid-30s and I was in my teens.
She's quitting as of now.
Been had it.
She's up here trying to call her an Uber to get her when we stop at the next light.
You tried it.
Marlowe
Not
Runway.
too much. Oh, what runway, Marlo?
Marlowe Runway.
You wouldn't work for plus size.
No, and that's okay.
Stop.
Plus size.
I don't know where you're getting these plus size fashions from.
Oh my God, your mother.
Don't do that. Play with mommies with Shamari. Don't do that with me.
No, don't play mommies with Shamari.
I'm not her. Don't play that.
Because Shamari don't play that shit either. Moms are off limits.
Marlo, I'm so sincere.
Okay, well, sit down then.
Don't do that, baby. I can meet you on the block if you want to go. 78th and Normandy. So you want to fight? Let's go. Swing. I promise you I've worked out.
I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. I don't play fair.
Go ahead and try to run it
I
back.
tried.
You got me
I
all
did.
the way
I'm
twisted,
just saying,
ma'am.
I've never said I was a model.
A flashback.
Everything
18
you
years,
wore on the
baby.
runway is in my closet. I own it.
Okay, welcome. Yeah, 'cause
I wasn't
got 'em
just
both.
modeling. I
got 'em
own
both.
it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Now you're lying. You're a fraud.
Says
You're a
your lace
fraud.
up front.
Fraud.
If you don't pick
Fraud.
up your got to be glue and
Oh
tack it
my
back
God.
down and leave me alone.
No, darling.
Put some edge control. Own
Talk
them
to me.
edges.
Smoking kills.
Well, I
Take
could
you
use a cigarette because
break.
you gotta be.
You can't even breastfeed because you're too busy smoking a cigarette. Breastfeed.
have a child.
Breastfeed. Can you breastfeed?
Oh, you're so bitter. I'm
Not
gonna pray
bitter.
for you. Godspeed.
Not bitter. Go and get your locks.
With your little hoodie helmet that you're wearing right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. And
Okay,
I
not
ain't
too much,
missing a
ma'am, in your
beat.
hoodie. What we're gonna do is leave my fashions alone.
What you're going to do is respect your elders' child.
I am child. Here you are, girl.
And
Bye.
stay in a child's place. You're a child.
Girl, I got 2 kids and a husband. What you have?
I'm an elder, you said, right?
Okay, talking about you're an elder.
Okay. You got 2 kids by 2 different men.
And you have what?
Okay, and
Yeah.
I don't have one at all.
You have
I
nothing.
Don't.
You have
No,
nothing
I
but
have
what's
a
on
lot,
your wrist
darling.
and that
I have
ill-fitted
happiness.
wig you wearing, and that's all you got. So send it back.
Child. I don't know why Eva's been holding back, but she has chopped Marlo up like a spicy tuna roll, honey.
Scene.
Oh my God, classic
Wow.
literature. Forget Dickens, honestly.
Oh,
We don't need it.
We don't.
God.
These women serve it.
Just off the top. This
they
is
just
what they come
are
with.
so
It's just a
funny, and they
text.
cut each other down, but it's so. And then they're like, I'm gonna pray for you.
Oh, when she called her an elder?
Oh.
my God.
Breastfeed.
Like,
Breastfeed.
Feed from your breast, bitch.
And I like that it all started with "Don't come for my flats."
Yep.
Don't come for my
Her
flats.
$1,200 flip flops. Okay, I actually didn't know you could spend $1,200
Either
on
did
flip flops.
I.
But
And I feel devastated for Eva because her style, it does look terrible.
It
So
does.
yeah,
Yes.
it's not.
But
I remember her from the soap operas back in the day. So,
Really?
Yes, I remember her when she was on TV. I can't remember which soap it was, but she was on a soap.
really,
Yes. And she's been in the game for a while. And so it's really surprising that she has such bad taste.
it is.
I'm like, girl, dress yourself.
very hippie kind of.
Yes, but like,
They're all so funny though. Even on this week's episode of Atlanta, when Marlo can't remember something, Portia goes, "You ain't Dory, bitch." That made me laugh so fucking hard. Like I was like, come
there are just levels to this
on.
shit. There are fucking levels to this shit.
It's
It
so
was
good.
so funny. And you know, she just came up with that there. Like, so funny.
Oh,
And
and just
this-
as I think about it, it passes over me like you have to know what Finding Dory is.
I know. So it
It's
has
just
like levels.
levels.
So like it took me a second and I started laughing. I paused it and watched it again. And I was laughing harder than I'm ever laughing at a sitcom.
Guys, last question. Why is Candy so into these like sex shows?
Dungeon I would like to go to the dungeon party. It's
That's
coming in June.
A
In July.
I would
really good
too.
question.
But it was a good idea.
It's a great
her obsession, like we get it, Candy. You're hot and you love sex, but like, I don't
She wants
know.
to monetize everything.
She
And
does.
so
She
this
does.
is something that Portia had called her, and like this was like that whole conspiracy against her that she has a sex dungeon. So she monetizes. She's always like,
thinking.
how do I monetize this thing that hurt me, this thing that affected me, this thing that people know
She
me
does
for.
impress me when she
She
puts these
just
things
goes,
together.
Oh yeah,
turns
like when she
it.
got the old lady gang together
Yes.
to make that little restaurant.
And
I
when
was like,
everyone else's businesses are
good.
just failing left, right,
left
and center.
right, and meanwhile she is thriving.
She
like,
makes money.
people
Yes.
like keep talking about like they go to the OLG restaurant and it's like full and the food is actually
and they're
good.
a chain now. It's like there's like 3 of them
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
That happened overnight.
and candy coated nights, and I mean there's a lot going on, and her obsession with the sex is very interesting to me. I'm
It's
just like
interesting.
and none of their other little businesses like Cynthia's like hair extensions or whatever the fuck.
The
It's-
Bailey agency.
Yeah.
Bailey Eyewear.
I was just like, if your modeling agency is in Atlanta, just know your career is only going to do so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow. Guys, we've covered it all. Anything else
was
you
a
want to
journey.
add? Any other shows you want to recommend?
Wow. That's a good question. What if oh, Bar Rescue. I'm obsessed with it right now.
That's on the Food Network.
No, it's not. It's on Paramount.
On Paramount.
Which used to
Oh.
be Spike.
Yes.
And so they basically kept the same programming, but
I
just
love that you're really following the platform.
called
like,
it something else. Oh yeah, I mean, I refuse to cut the cord. I love traditional cable. I want to come home. I don't want to turn on 5 devices. I want to turn on one cable box and watch all of the channels, all of them. And I have the whole cable because I like. It may be 3 a.m. I want to see what's on channel 1133.
Yeah.
I do. And it might be some stupid shit, but I want to watch Forged in Fire.
And you want to be able
watch it.
to.
Oh, Forged in Fire. I'll
What's
also recommend
Forged in
that.
Fire?
It's Chopped, but for people who make swords.
What?
The way you
I'm
just
like,
gasped.
Jordan, our engineer, gasping.
has chocolate
Yeah.
for people who make swords.
Yes, and so there are
What
two
channel is
challenges.
this
History Channel. and so it starts with 4 blade makers. And in the first round, they have to make a blade. And oftentimes it's like, here's a knight suit. You have to melt it down and make a blade. Here's a bowling ball. Fucking forge some metal out of this. And then they choose one who's not good enough. And in the second round, they have 4 hours or so to like refine it into a better knife. And they have to put a handle on the blade. And then the winner, the two, then one is eliminated. And then the 2 go back to their home forges for 5 days. And they make a weapon from ancient history. And once it was this like circle
so this
blade.
is a show where people have to have talent, is what you're telling me. They
An
have to have skills
obscure
and talent.
Yes,
I don't
a
know
very
if
obscure talent. And the prize is $10,000. It's such a small and adorable prize. And they are so fucking serious about it. And it's exactly the kind of people that you would expect to be people who make swords in their free time. And they like, I'm a blacksmith. And I'm like, yes, you are. It's the most charming show because everyone is like sincerely passionate. And so when they come back with the blades, and also after the second round, they test them. And so they have these human dummies and they like stab things. And there's this guy named Doug and he's like, your blade will kill. Oh, I Instagram it all the time. It's a great show.
Wow.
I would love to be like a guest judge on it, but I don't know anything about blades.
Put it out there.
You know,
Put it in
that's
the
true.
universe.
Can we ask
Yeah.
our listeners to make something happen? And we are going to contact Andy Warbucks ourselves. But you need to be a guest on Watch What Happens Live.
I really do.
You do.
It actually, it pains me a little. Like there are some career milestones that I'm like, I really want this.
Yeah.
And of all those career milestones, Pulitzer Prize, whatever, the one I want most is to be on Watch What Happens
You want
Live.
a We Got.
I do want a We Got.
Putting a W
Wow.
in front of that for
Thank
Watch What
you.
Happens.
We Got.
Wow.
You're
you
welcome,
just came
guys.
up with that. You're
Just
so
like Portia.
talented.
Just like Portia, guys.
Yeah, it's my dream. I just want to sit there with someone and chat about whatever related to Bravo's excellent programming.
Wow.
And you
You and
deserve
Barbara
it.
Kay just sitting
Yes.
there chatting.
I'm
whomever.
passionate about Bravo. Like
You are.
I
We're
really
gonna make it
am.
happen.
Below deck.
I feel like with
I'm just
us,
here for all of it.
I feel like our listeners
Can make things happen.
can make things happen. And I feel like your pedigree itself
I feel like
is
I have a lot to
enough.
offer. I truly don't understand why I haven't been on this show. Like with some things, I'm like, yeah, Roxane, you're never going to go on Jeopardy. But
Why aren't you on Jeopardy?
Yeah.
I know I would be
I
so
saw
fun.
Brian
You're not going to
Dennehy
go
on
on
Jeopardy.
You're
Why
not
can't
gonna
you
go
get
on
on
Fire or
Jeopardy?
Make a Blade. Although
No,
maybe you will.
I'm really not gonna. I even though sometimes I watch it and I just think maybe I should build a home forge in my garage.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to recommend
No.
3 quick shows
Yes.
that I'm just catching up on. Fleabag, I'd never seen.
So good.
Amazing British show. And then I'm watching Amy Sedaris' show on True TV. Her
At Home with Amy
At Home with
Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris is amazing. And what's that documentary that everybody's been watching? I just watched it. So horrifying about the parents who allow their daughter to be kidnapped twice.
I've heard
know
about this
one.
on
Oh my
Netflix, but I
God.
haven't seen it yet.
Continue on, Danielle. Anything for you to recommend?
Yes,
I will
I'm
find
listening to this new podcast called The Dropout. And it's basically about this woman who invented this basically blood testing technology, and it was all a fraud.
Oh my God!
And it's,
there's a great book called Bad Blood.
I think it's based on that same woman.
It's
The book about
incredible.
Silicon Valley?
Elizabeth Holmes.
Yes, it's about Elizabeth Holmes.
I'm obsessed with her.
Oh, I'm obsessed in how she changed her voice.
You have to read
I
Bad
will.
Blood. It's super compelling. It's this whole book about this thing. She's afraid of pinpricks, and she's like, I want to invent a machine where you can do all the blood tests from a prick of blood. Now, anyone who's gotten a blood test knows that they fill multiple vials with
Yes.
milliliters of blood. And this girl was like, no. She has no background. She dropped out of Stanford. She's had maybe 3 science classes in her life and got $1 billion in investments. Henry Kissinger, or
on the
someone
board.
like that, was
Was
on
on
the
the board.
board of her company, Theranos.
Yes, Theranos. It's
Theranos.
amazing. I will read that book. And
I didn't know there was a podcast.
A podcast. It's called The Dropout, and I'm like 4 episodes in, and I'm riveted.
Oh, good to
Abducted
know.
in plain sight.
Abducted in plain sight.
Yeah.
I think Danielle should be. I mean, Jordan should be on the show too. She has great tattoos.
You really do, Jordan.
You too.
All of my
Oh, Jordan contains multitudes.
I would also like to plug Roxane's book recently that you edited.
Which one? Not That Bad?
Yeah, not
Yes.
bad. I mean, I know it's been out for almost a year. What is it?
It came out in May.
Yeah, so
May
about a year.
2018.
But you
Yes.
edited it and put it
I
together. It was on a
did.
bunch of top lists this year of 2018.
Absolutely.
So not
Yes.
that bad. And it was edited by Roxane Gay. And it's an amazing book. And I think everyone should go out and buy it or
I agree.
download it
Thank you.
to your Kindle.
Also, Best American Short Stories 2018. Get it.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Roxane.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Thank you.
depleted in all the best ways.
Me too. This is my favorite podcast. I don't listen to podcasts, but this one I do.
Oh,
because it's
bless.
the news.
that means everything.
It really does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, Case.
Thanks, Jordan.
No, don't talk to her.
Yes.